So what's the next metric? That's the largest contentful pane. So this is when about 90% of the content in that orange box has loaded. So this will always be larger than your first because your first has to be lower because that's when things just start loading. This is when stuff is done loading. So how can Varnish help you? So caching images. So instead of going to your backend for every image, you can have a Varnish serve them. Another one which is really cool is in aligning images. So what you might not know is that you can actually base a 64 encode image and then put it in the HTML, so in the page. And the benefit of doing that is the browser doesn't need to make a separate request to get that image. But there's also some downsides. Your HTML is going to be larger because now it has those images in it. But normally, if you have smaller images, it's a more beneficial to inalign them. So normally, this would be a painstaking process on your backend, come like converting like images to a base of 64, then inserting them there. Plus, also, if you don't have control of your backend, that way you may not be even able to do that. What Varnish will do in the future, this feature actually just wrapped up the encoding yesterday, and now it's going into testing, is that we can actually do that base 64 in a coding and that insertion into the HTML on the fly, so that you don't need to worry about that. And one thing that we're also playing with is dynamically doing it based on the size of the image. So you won't even need to go and pick, hey, I want this one, this one, and this one to be in line. Varnish will just magically go, hey, these are the ones that should be, these are the ones that shouldn't. And then also the same pre-fetching your assets and the HTTP2 are huge things. One other thing is that you can also ESI in actually JavaScript and like a CSS. So instead of the page having to go and make a separate request to grab those files, they can already be embedded in the page. But you can keep them as separate resources inside Varnish so that when you, let's say, change like a JavaScript file, CSS file, you don't have to purge the entire cache. You still get the benefit of that looking like a separate file. The so if we go next, so time to interact.